Hey everybody, how's it going? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about the top 16 Jefferson Nickel double die obverses, and we'll be going over some clear photos. This is a full list of all of the varieties that are certified either NGC or PCGS with a double die obverse for the series, and I'll have values as well to talk you through it, so excited to get started with the first one in the PowerPoint presentation. Before we start with the first coin, I just want to say that these double die obverses are going to be not double struck, but the dies that strike these coins will leave the double die on each one of them because it's a result of the hubbing process that creates the dies that then strike the coins. There's lots of different types of double dies. Sometimes it's apparent, other times it's not. Our first example is going to be probably in the medium category. You can see a little bit of doubling in the In God We Trust, as well as a little bit on the inside of the date, but it's not super clear. Still turns a coin that otherwise wouldn't have too much value into a good find. AU55, that's going to be a $40 coin, mint state in the low hundreds. There's going to be a second double die for that year, and this one's really just in the face and the nose, sort of like a doubled profile. Reminds me of some of the 1966 special mint set Kennedy half dollars. This one's a little less valuable. I always think that the ones that are the best to collect are the ones where you can see it clearly in the lettering. This one is a quadruple die obverse. You can see the split serifs a little bit. It looks like in the bottoms of the Y and the T, and it sort of presents, because they're so closely doubled to each other, almost like it's extra thick lettering, but it is, four separate different, quadruplings, basically, little serifs, where that hub that was creating the dies had the quadrupling. They didn't quite articulate it the best there, but the 1938D also has a double die obverse that's worth looking for. This one is sort of some split serifs again. You can see in the R, that's pretty apparent. The E, there's like split serifs on both sides, and then a little bit of like a bar that goes through. Same thing up top in the I, and then down in the B, and then in the L. So that one, not huge amounts of them are known, and it's only certified at NGC. So something to note, VP is their Variety Plus system. Kaneka is a society that focuses on errors and varieties and has their own numbering system, much more advanced. And then the FS is the ones done by PCGS and the Cherry Picker's Guide that are sort of the main collected varieties. It's a little bit of a situation where if something would become FS listed, and it can, then it'll probably get a good bit more valuable. But this one really appears to be one of those extra thickness varieties. I mean, the GOD super thick, especially the bases of like the E and the R. I'm trying to think, if we go back, look at the difference here between the L here and then the L in this case. Massive extra thickness. This can be detected at multiple different levels of how circulated it is, and because of how significant the doubling is, even though it's not like there's clear shelving, people still will pay $100, $200, $300 for decent looking examples of this variety. The next one in the 1939D is going to be a pretty nice clear double die. I think this should be FS listed. It's just super sharp, very clear all through. Extra bars on the Y, the T, the R. Same thing in the date. Looks like there's a little bit of shelving. 11 of them have been found, so maybe that's a good candidate. Really nice double die to be searching for. The next one, we go ahead to the 1942. This is not a war nickel. It is just the 1942 no mint mark. Clear separation all through the In God, sort of an east separation, and then when you get to the date, clear shelve in 1, 4, and then big doubling in the 2. So that's a nice one to be on the lookout for. Not super pricey, $50 in AU, $125 to $250 in mint state. There's also going to be one where you can see clearly the doublings in the nostril, but also I think that's the marker where it's protruding sort of on that on the 2 in the date. This one has a pretty similar valuation to the previous one. After that, we get to 1943P. This is our first war nickel. This one looks to me like it's more on the extra thickness than anything else, because it is pretty significant in that regard. Just all through, much larger in terms of the amount of surface area that each of these letters has. Not a super valuable one. AU55 trading in like the $25 range. Mint state really only gets up to $150, so that's one to be still excited about, but temper the expectations, this is a little more expensive here, and I agree that this should be more expensive. Anything where there's the clear split serifs on that E there, on the T, the S, really nice double die obverse. In AU55, there was one sale result around $75, which I feel like is a more fair number. The third one is much more known. I think it's really cool because it's the clear shelving all through the In God We Trust, all through the date, very uniform. And then you get to the eye, and it's like there's almost two different eyes that have been doubled here, but both the eyelids on the one below make this a really appealing error to be searching for. There's also a double die obverse only recognized at NGC and Kaneka here for 1943S. It's got clear bars all through the Liberty. It looks like a step, though it's not machine doubled. These are, you can see different serifs in the 1943 and the star. You can also see splits and a really nice separation on that star there. 1945D, we get another nice double die obverse. Nothing too crazy. The Y almost looks like it's either extra thickness right there. I was going to say, I didn't see it over here, but basically this is showing the normal versus the extra. You can see in that base here, it's like one base here. That base is extended upwards. Same thing in the T and the R. So that's a really good way to search for it. Just look at the bottom parts more so than whether it's more wide as lettering. But again, the values don't rocket up for most extra thickness varieties. 1946, there's a really clear, this is one of the more expensive ones, double die. You can see in the E and the B, a little bit in the I, just strong separation, clear splits, nice thick difference between those two coins there. And this one starts out at about 185 in AU, gets up in that 500, even clearing four figures in the nicer mint state. So peel your eyes for the 1946. There's a few more recent ones. It might just be this 1964 Jefferson Nickel double die obverse. Nice clear splits in the W. Really nice serifs in the E, where there's a fair bit of separation. In the D, you can see same thing in the O. Just clear differential there, and that makes a nice coin. And you can see up here, this is Wexler. John Wexler is also a major variety specialist in the States. This is one of 24, and there's plenty more after this, so there's a lot of doubling to look for. Need a microscope, but you can find some pretty cool stuff. And then the last one, this is not a circulating coin, but it's the satin finish Bison Nickel. It's got this Liberty here in script, and you want to look closely at the T, because that's the best diagnosis place where you can find that diagnostic, really, I should say. Doesn't sell for a huge amount of money. I feel like if I could find one of these in SB69, $150, I'd pretty happily pay it if the market holds steady, because it's just a nice, it's most of the time you don't see this type of separation on some of the more modern errors or varieties, and this is a great one to wrap up this series. But most of this stuff seems to be a little bit earlier, quality controls improved, but still, you can find definitely some of these 1942s in circulation. 3938D is going to be a little tougher, but a nice group overall. This is probably my favorite one, this quadruple die obverse here, just because it's always crazy when something stacks up and has a real, multiple different things going wrong, or that minting process seen so clearly on this coin. So thanks for watching. If you've got one of these, when you go to auction, probably place it to somebody or go to a dedicated errors and varieties auction, just so that you get the right eyes on it and doesn't slip through the cracks, because the collecting base is not huge, but then there's people who really like this stuff, so they'll pay up for it. Thanks, and see you on some of my similar videos. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. I've also got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you can follow me there. TreasuretownYT.com is the main channel website. Definitely give that a visit. I've got a lot of information about me up there and the channel. CoinGrabBag.com as well currently redirects there, but it's some good opportunities for very fair grab bags, both made by me and other sellers. A lot of different options, so that's a good way to support. There's also TreasuretownCoins.com. In the future, my coin dealing operation will be done out of that website. CoinMeltPrice.com for updates on the melt prices of your coins, both US and world. A lot of resources in that website. And then CoinsMetalsCards.com being developed right now as a marketplace and news source for coins, metals, cards, and collectibles in general. So I'll see you on my future videos. Looking forward to seeing you there, and hope you have a good day.